Hello and welcome. I am Kunal from EPK Capital. At EPK Capital, our guiding philosophy is simple yet profound. We build wealth for generations. Over my past 20 years in investment and wealth management, I have witnessed several technological cycles, from the early days of the commercial internet to the mobile revolution. Today, we are standing at the absolute precipice of what is arguably the most significant structural transition of our lifetimes: the massive convergence of artificial intelligence and advanced robotics. Let's look at our first core point, which is the critical transition from retail hype to true enterprise reality. For the past couple of years, the public conversation around AI was dominated by consumer curiosity, people playing with basic chatbots or generating funny images. But as we move through 2026, that initial retail hype is settling down, and the real institutional transformation is beginning. If you want proof, you only need to look at hard corporate spending data. Global technology spending is hitting a massive $5.6 trillion this year. This tells us that businesses are no longer just running small, experimental pilots to look innovative. They are shifting capital permanently, are making artificial intelligence the foundational core of their daily corporate operations. This is where long term value is born. That leads us directly to our second point: the rise of Agentic AI, which we can think of as the birth of the digital employee. Until recently, artificial intelligence was largely reactive. You asked a question, and it gave you an answer. Generative AI required constant human prompting. But the paradigm has fundamentally shifted to Agentic AI. These are sophisticated software agents capable of autonomous planning, reasoning, and executing complex, multi step tasks across entirely different enterprise systems without human intervention. Imagine a digital assistant that doesn't just draft an invoice when asked, but automatically cross references supply chain backlogs, renegotiates vendor terms based on preset financial parameters, and updates the accounting ledger simultaneously. Industry forecasts show that nearly 40% of all enterprise software applications used by businesses will have these goal oriented AI agents built directly into them. For investors, this is an extraordinary trend because it drives massive operational efficiency and expands corporate profit margins to levels we haven't seen in decades. It fundamentally rewires the cost structure of global corporations. Now let's move to our third point, which expands this intelligence from the digital screen into the physical world. We are entering the era of physical AI and the new robotics wave. For years, industrial robots were essentially blind, deaf, and dumb machines programmed to repeat the exact same physical movement millions of times on an assembly line. If an object was placed 2 inches to the left, the machine would fail. Physical AI changes everything by giving these machines brains, eyes, and adaptive learning through what we call vision language action models. The global AI in robotics market has now reached an estimated $26 billion, and it is accelerating rapidly. We are seeing real world implementations that go far beyond science fiction. Autonomous fleets are managing complex, dynamic environments in logistics and warehousing. Precision robots are handling microscopic components in semiconductor manufacturing. Even in commercial food service and healthcare, machines are adapting to messy, unpredictable environments in real time. They aren't just automated anymore. They are genuinely learning from their environments and optimizing their own performance. Our fourth point takes us behind the scenes to look at what actually powers this revolution. Because intelligence requires an immense physical backbone. This is the great data center and energy boom. A common mistake I see retail investors make is focusing solely on flashy software companies. But as seasoned wealth managers, we know that every software algorithm requires processing power, and every robot requires physical infrastructure. To give you a sense of the sheer scale of this build out, institutional research from Morgan Stanley estimates that cumulative global data center capital expenditure will hit an astonishing $2.9 trillion through 2028. This capital is being split between the bricks and mortar construction of next generation facilities and the high performance computing hardware required to run them. Furthermore, these facilities consume an unprecedented amount of electricity. Therefore, smart investors aren't just chasing the software providers. They are looking at the picks and shovels of the AI gold rush. This means investing strategically in modernized power grids, green energy suppliers, advanced cooling technologies, and the foundational infrastructure hardware that keeps the entire global AI ecosystem alive. For our fifth point, let's look at this through a lens that bridges both global markets and our local opportunities, the global and Indian symbiosis. Having spent over 2 decades managing wealth both internationally and within India, I find this particular dynamic incredibly exciting. Historically, India was viewed by global corporations primarily as a cost effective back office or an IT service outsourcing hub. Today, that narrative is completely dead. India has evolved into the core engineering backbone for global AI native deployments. Global capability centers across India are driving the architectural design of these technologies. Simultaneously, on the domestic front, India is aggressively adopting smart automation across its own rapidly expanding manufacturing, infrastructure, and logistics sectors. This creates a powerful dual engine for growth. Indian enterprises are utilizing global AI frameworks to leapfrog traditional development cycles, while Indian engineering talent is fueling global tech infrastructure. It is a unique macroeconomic position that offers highly sophisticated entry points for long term capital. This brings us to our sixth point, which is a practical investing lesson on how to navigate this space wisely. Spotting true value versus cheap corporate mentions. In any massive technology super cycle, there is a period where companies realize they can boost their stock price simply by uttering the words artificial intelligence on an earnings call. But the market is smart, and it is already beginning to punish companies that offer nothing but empty marketing buzzwords. As long term wealth builders, our job is to look for actual operational leverage. We study the financial statements to find companies where the adoption of AI and robotics is driving measurable cash flow margin expansion. Current data shows that companies successfully integrating these technologies are seeing their cash flow margins expand at double the global average of their peers. We look for businesses that use automation to decouple revenue growth from headcount growth, effectively exploding their profitability. Discernment is everything in this market. You want to own the enterprises that are fundamentally transformed, not just the ones changing their logos. Finally, our seventh point brings us back to the very core philosophy of why we manage wealth in the first place: building true generational wealth. The history of investing proves that true, life changing wealth is never created by day trading the daily noise or trying to time short term retail hype cycles. It is built by identifying massive, unstoppable structural megatrends, acquiring high quality assets connected to those trends, and compounding them over generations. The convergence of AI and robotics is not a passing fad. It is the infrastructure of the next century. As an actionable next step, I strongly encourage you to look closely at your current investment portfolio. Evaluate your exposure. Are your assets positioned to thrive in an automated, AI driven global economy? Or are you holding legacy businesses vulnerable to disruption? Ensuring your portfolio aligns with this future is the first step towards safeguarding your family's financial legacy. If you want a tailored, multi generational investment strategy that effectively bridges Indian and global markets, the team at EPK Capital is here to provide the institutional clarity and guidance you need. Thank you for your time today. Let's build wealth for generations to come.